Man, I don't know what to say about this one. Really, the kind of game that your team wins maybe once every 3 years. If maybe you hit a lucky streak and it happens once or twice in a year, but more often than not, I don't know. I mean, the game proceeded for our offense exactly the way I expected, pretty much. Offensive line was getting beat down. Um, And I'm not really going to blame them for it. They're clearly overmatched against a guy like J.J. Watt and some of the other guys Houston has. Wilson got slammed so many times in this game. He got hit so many times, a lot of sacks. Um, I don't really know who you put that on. Those guys, they're just not as good as J.J. Watt, and he proved it many times in that game. Um, so, the offensive struggles, they don't surprise me, but the defense through I'd say 2.5 quarters probably. Although, if you're being completely fair, I'd say the first half, just complete disappointment. You go into that game knowing that the defense has to take over the game or you're going to lose, and they give up 20 points in the second quarter alone. Everything starts out fine. You force a punt, you force a turnover in the red zone, which takes points off the board, obviously, but on the whole, it just seems like Houston can move the ball whenever they want, mainly through the air. Schaub had a very good game through the first 3 quarters, I would say. But, this is the best secondary in the league. This is a very good pass rush, or so we were told it would be. This is a great defense, and to see them go out there and get beat on, routes, play after play after play, it gets to you because when you're talking about facing a good aerial attack, good passing attacks, it's pretty easy for them to pick up 10 or more yards on a single play. So even if you do manage to turn in one or two good plays in a row, all they need to do is have that one good play on third down, and you're right back at first down. So it was frustrating to see. We were getting passed all over for a lot of that game, and Houston was making it look easy. And at that point, I was like, Houston's a good team. Houston's very tough in Reliance Stadium. I get all that, but right now I feel disappointed in this defense. They didn't give us a chance in this game, in a game where we needed them. And I don't want to slam the run defense because you look at the numbers and they played well, but there were moments where it seemed like Arian Foster was pushing the pile on us too. So, we gave up almost 500 yards of offense, even with the extra session, the overtime period. That's still not good. So all that being said, it was 20-3 in this third quarter. We got the ball first and punted, and at that point I was like, this is not our day. Everything's going wrong. Everything we were doing didn't work out. Like, right before the first half, we were trying to get the ball back by calling timeouts, and then we gave up a first down. And Houston decided, oh, we're going to go down the field and kick a field goal of our own. 6-point swing because we were calling timeouts when Houston probably would have just taken the ball, taken the time off the clock and gone into half up 17-3. The play calling wasn't very good. We had the one field goal drive that was mostly generated off of a pass interference penalty, but on the whole, it seemed like the offense couldn't get anything right. Marshawn Lynch had the fumble, obviously, but just everything was going wrong, and I kind of thought, well, let's just see if they stick around, but I'm not expecting anything. And then third quarter, the defense forces a fumble. We get 3 off of it because the offense still hasn't woken up, and at that point, I'm still thinking, okay, it doesn't matter. The offense can't move the ball. We're not. I mean, the offense just got handed the ball at the 25-yard line and couldn't even move a yard. And then we get the ball at the 2, and I'm thinking, this is the moment where we either do something or the game will literally be over. Doug Baldwin down the sideline, an impossible catch that I was sure he didn't haul in, and the replay showed he just barely did. Wilson deciding to use his legs because one thing about Russell Wilson this year is we don't want him to get hit. So he's not running as much as he might have last year, especially, if you look at games against the Bills and the Bears, he didn't run very much because we didn't want him to. We didn't want him to take that abuse. but in this game, we needed him to take that abuse for us to win. So we saw him take off a few times on that one game-changing 98-yard drive. We get in the end zone. And one thing I want to say about this offense is, even though he fumbled, Marshawn Lynch, running behind this offensive line, which just wasn't up to the task today, had a very productive game. He caught some passes. He caught a screen pass for a big gain. He had a touchdown run. He almost had 100 yards. Very good yards per carry average. I thought he was fantastic out there, all things considered. And even early in that game, when things weren't going our way, he was helping pace us a little bit. And as the game wore on, he became a destructive force out there that was helping us come back. So that all comes together. And now the offense is awake, and I'm kind of thinking, okay, I can kind of believe now. And then, and as long as, we have Wilson back there, because of what I saw him do last year, I'm never really going to give up as long as we're within a couple scores at the end of the game. Just give me a reasonable set of circumstances where we can do it, and I'll believe we can do it. But, he throws that interception after the defense comes up with a big stop. Stupid interception, kind of a weird play. The play was busted from the start because of the pass rush. And Houston picks up one first down, and at that point, it's ticking away. And, Matt Schaub, he does the one thing he can't do. And as much as I would love to give this team complete credit for what happened on that play, because they got a good pass rush on Schaub, pass rush was good for most of the game. I will say there were parts where we didn't touch Schaub, and he just stood back there, and that can't happen. And, Sherman made a great play on the ball, and he took it back. Just the kind of play, the kind of, culmination of all these different things, where when you fall behind in a game like 20-3, you think of all the things that have to go right for you in order to come back. And you just kind of know that it's probably not going to happen. Maybe a couple of those things happen, but not all of them. And in this game, I don't know if all of them did, but enough of them did. We gut it out. We send it to overtime. We were very lucky to be in the game at that point. A few punts get traded back and forth. The defense holds strong. I think they gave up a few first downs in that overtime period, and I thought they did get the bad end of a brutal penalty to take, but we also took an iffy penalty on our game-winning field goal drive, so there you go. So yeah, I don't know. I don't feel great about this team right now. The defense gave up a lot of yards, but I say that, and then I go, maybe I'm holding these guys to too high of a standard, because they gave up almost 500 yards, but they gave up close to 100 yards a quarter on average if you average everything out, about 100 yards a quarter, but 20 points, no points allowed in any quarter other than the second, forcing 3 turnovers, 1 in the red zone, 2 setting us up, another setting us up in the red zone, and a third scoring straight up, 4 sacks on Schaub, even though I got on the pass rush a little bit at points in this game, 4 sacks, other pressures on Schaub to generate bad throws. Maybe I'm being too hard on these guys, but a lot of this game was frustrating, and there will continue to be questions about this team's prowess and ability to win on the road until we go out there and kick somebody's ass on the road. Got a chance next week in Indianapolis, but for now, I'm just going to enjoy this. It was a special kind of win that, like I said, you don't see your team get every year. You just hope that every now and then it happens for you, and you just feel good when it does. And I'm going to feel good about this because it happened for us. And I guess that's all you can say. Credit to Marshawn Lynch. He paced the offense. And, Wilson, his numbers weren't good, but I can't put that on him. Offensive line was getting crushed all day, and he made a lot of plays with his feet to keep us in that game, especially on that one drive. So, I don't know, still evaluating, because I watch this team play defense, and I get mad at the things they do, and then I look at it at the end of the game, and their numbers are great. Even in this Houston game, they gave up 20 points on the road to Houston. Yeah, there are some bad numbers in there, but I need to reevaluate the way I'm looking at things, it seems like, because something is missing. There's a disconnect. great win regardless. We made enough plays to pull it out. Um, Indianapolis next week going to be a tough one, but talk about that later. For now, let's just see where this goes.